Hello everyone and welcome back to Barcelona KeenCon 2022. We just saw an absolutely fabulous match between the likes of Razy and Zeneku. As there was a reset during the second map, we've got 3 sudden death maps. Can't really complain in that department, of course. I'm Lethal. Joining me is Ints once again. Another win in semi-finals, and it will be between maxter and cha1n this time.
This one should be very close. However, I don't think it can be any closer than the previous one, right?
Well,
even if
you say that.
Even if you go to the third map and it's a 2-1, I'm sure not all of the 3 maps will go to a sudden death.
No, well,
right?
Yeah, if it does, yeah, of course,
It's really hard to get any closer unless they keep getting sudden deaths.
Yeah, exactly. And we do have an interview from the likes of maxter and cha1n just to see how they feel about the tournament so far going in.
Hello, my name is Maximiliano Gonzalez, aka Maxter. I'm a professional player currently playing for the Fortigots. I started to play Quake when I was around 5 years old. And then I started to play professionally when I was around 22 years old. There was a gap, really huge gap there, because I was playing other games until I find that competing on a game that I can be by myself, it's more attractive to me and it fits me really well. I think that this kind of events like KeenCon is doing right now, the fact that it's the 2nd edition and now we have the opportunity to just have pro players and as well we count now with a LAN server, I think it's just a really huge step in between the 1st and 2nd edition. And I think this is a really huge opportunity for us to show how good can we do as an event organizer. Well, to be honest, as favorite Quake player, probably that one might not be here in the tournament, but that one will be Rafa, but inside the tournament probably will be cha1n, because I really like how disciplined he is. My favorite map and champion, I would say that probably Corrupted Kid and Slash are my favorites in terms of maps and champions.
Hi, my name is Greg. I play Quake professionally. I enjoy working on different kinds of projects, and of course, playing Quake. I started playing Quake when I was probably 13 or 14 years old. I started playing Quake 3, then I got into Quake Champions 2018, so I missed the first big year, and since then I've been playing as much as I can. So, it's really impressive what KeenCon has here. Like, I wasn't expecting. It's like a little pocket studio bundle. They have everything they need, and it's very compact and it looks very professional, so I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing. And I hope to achieve first place, of course. It's a good event to win, I think. So, when I was younger, I watched like Vu. He had like this one frag movie. I just rewatched a lot, so maybe I'll just say Vu for now. Favorite map would probably be Vale, maybe. And favorite champion, probably Nyx or Slash.
Right, we're ready and set for our next winners semi-finals. First player coming onto the stage, maxter. And his opponent is going to be none other than cha1n. This matchup's going to be very interesting in terms of styles to see how cha1n can deal with maxter's strategic aggression. We've seen it time and time again, these two coming up against each other, and we'll have to see what maxter can do here.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, in terms of our own predictions, who would you favor in this matchup?
It's going to go down to the wire. I want to see in terms of predictions. I would maybe give maxter a slight edge depending on how well he's been performing this weekend, but how he's been practicing leading up to this event. But it's also the same boat for cha1n as well, because we know how well he can perform once he's got a good, 4 to 6 weeks of practice. We talked about it before, where 6 weeks prior to QuakeCon, he was studying, really trying to get himself prepared for QuakeCon. He was literally just an entirely different guy. He was looking really strong, really high-level plays coming out from him, and it's more about the consistency from him going into this tournament. So I think cha1n will have some struggles, especially in the aim skill department, but it depends how good maxter's strategic aggression is going to be, but also who's going to adapt the fastest between the two.
Well, we're looking at now at the picks and ban screen, and the first map was actually going to be Insomnia. Nice, I think we might actually get to see Insomnia this time around, it seems. So it's going to be Anarchy from cha1n, a very strong champion in Insomnia, and a really good counter for it as well. Maxter going with the Ranger. Second map, Ruins of Sarnet, going to be light champion battle. Maxter with the Slash and cha1n with the Nyx, one of cha1n's best champions as well. And the last match, a bit of a weird pick for cha1n there. Galina going versus a Strog.
Yeah, this is not normally a matchup we normally see ever going on to Blood Covenant. If we do see Blood Covenant, it will be the first time we've witnessed it on stage here this weekend, but at least we're going to witness Insomnia for the first time especially. We've had it in a few map 3s, but sadly they did go to a 2-0 series, but it's going to be a very interesting one itself. First map is going to be Insomnia in this best of 3. Maxter playing as the Ranger with cha1n going in as the Anarchy, and we're going to see how this is going to unfold shortly, as this is going to be an absolute cracker of a series. The winner will be facing against Razy in the winners final soon enough.
Speaking of Razy, I was asking both him and Zanaku their predictions for this game, and Razy said Maxter seems to have the upper hand statistically, so I guess he's favoring Maxter in this matchup. And then I asked Zanaku, and he said, well, I think cha1n will win 2-0.
Okay. So,
not that close.
No, not at all. That's
very different opinions, but I guess the differing opinions only means that this game is actually very balanced in the end.
Certainly is indeed, as we're going to get into our first map on Insomnia. Starts off from Maxter's POV. They're warmed up, they're ready to go into the second winners semi-finals. Winner gets Razy in the winners finals, and this has guaranteed them a top 3 finish, guaranteed. As Maxter does pick up the roller straight away, then followed by the Heavy. It's laid it a little bit, but cha1n definitely heard the cue for that and has the timing for it also.
Yeah, Maxter already doing damage with his best weapon, the Rail. And oh, that's true. Yep. Oh my god, he's already landed 3. He might go for the shotgun to finish, but the shotgun completely misses from Maxter. I think maybe he should have gone for another Rail if he was hitting them, right? But yeah, that shotgun finish did not favor him at all. He just absolutely missed the shot, and cha1n gets away with his first kill.
You're not wrong at all. Gets away with murder there. cha1n, first blood within the 1 minute mark. Still got a good stack to work with. Still able to continue to pile on the pressure. Just keeping that light protected whilst the items are coming up. Only a couple of seconds apart between the two. Mega will be up first though. We're going to see what cha1n is going to prioritise. It depends where Max is going to be on the map. You can see already that Max is just teaching around the map. Oh, that was perfectly timed as well. And you saw there, as he threw the orb, he was only going to port through only if he hit that last rail, which he did, and was able to clean up the kill. Beautiful stuff there from Maxter. And come out with a machine gun, doing a lot of damage actually, considering Maxter finally finishes off with the rockets. But the problem is he's so weak, and he needs to be careful in case cha1n does decide to trade. But he won't after that first rail from Maxter.
Yeah, I think we have a good contender for RMV in the best rail department, as Maxter keeps landing those rail shots. And as he said, the last frag was a very good TP play there from Maxter with the orb. Oh my god, even the tribal is hitting, and the rail to finish it up. Seems the only thing he isn't hitting was that one shotgun, because everything else just absolutely connecting. He'll allow cha1n to steal the Heavy, but he steals away all of the stack right after, and even the flick rail at the end, because that was a very hard shot, because cha1n did use the air dodge there to try and move out of the way, but Maxter adapted perfectly.
Certainly did indeed. Maxter's just trying to the direct afterwards. That's going to be a cause for concern here for cha1n.
I like that Maxter is going more aggressive now, just trying to do some damage at the Heavy. He's able to do some, and I think this warrants... Oh, he misses a shotgun again. So Maxter, he's hitting absolutely every shot. Only the shotgun doesn't seem to be quite connecting for him, because if he was hitting, he would be winning by 2 more frags at least.
Yeah, the shotgun doesn't seem to be his best mate at the moment, but the everything else definitely are, and the direct rocket earlier on, but good counter attack there from cha1n. So needed at least a bit of chip to just at least keep Maxter away, or just keep him at bay for now, as we're just hitting the 3 minute mark, as cha1n just teetering in with the LG. Manages to claim the Heavy in the end. He's going to try and finish up the LG. Does he? No, he clears up the rail anyway. 3-0 in favour of Maxter, looking so good. Trying to counter for the Mega as well. We're going to clean it up with 11 HP. Yes, he does. He does burn the Mega, but the problem is for cha1n now, even though he got that first frag, he's super weak from that last bout.
Did you see the patience of Maxter there with the shotgun, knowing he's not hitting that well with that weapon? He just patiently waited for his shot, so that he knew he was going to die, and just tried to do max damage so that after he dies, he can go back to applying pressure. Speaking of pressure, where is he, cha1n? He's he's finding it a bit weird that maxter isn't here to try and do any damage or pressure at this heavy, but they're just going to completely trade items.
Maybe Max didn't have the timing for it, maybe he wasn't in position, maybe he decided to go for the Mega instead due to it being only 5 seconds apart. Now just change the circling around to see what you can find. Click on those hourglasses to the injects later on. Good rail there from Maxter, backing away again.
Oh, that's a heavy for maxter. cha1n forced to get out of there. Not sure if he's even going to be fast enough to go for the Mega. Position. Oh, maxter does use the orb eventually to get both of the items himself. But oh, he didn't get the heavy earlier. It's still up there. And oh, he almost hit that shot actually. So maxter actually went for the Mega.
Oh,
yeah,
the shotgun straight afterwards.
And now he's hitting the shots. And now that he's hitting the shots, it's starting to get very hard for cha1n as the score now goes 4-1. And maxter knows Mega is the next item up. He's waiting even for the light armor. And there's enough time for him to go for the heavy after. cha1n not really able to delay him any longer. And he even picks up yet another light armor and tries to do a little rocket jump. Can he get the kill? There's the orb. And no, cha1n actually hits 200 shotgun blasts to try and close the gap.
Good first rail there through the TP from cha1n. Now Mega will be up in 7 seconds. May have time to contest a heavy also if he gets there quick enough, but again depends on the positioning on Maxter. Holding the angle at the moment. cha1n just waiting for him in case he tries to stop him from picking up that last light. Does some tri-bolt damage as he picks up the heavy, but oh, okay, a little bit more damage from Maxter as well, just to keep cha1n on his toes. Just look and see exactly where he wants to go and where he wants to rotate round next. There's still has the weapons all in his arsenal. Uses the inject early. He's going to see if he can tickle Maxter just a tad with the LG. Not going to go for the TP. Doesn't want to be too predictable. He's actually going to delay it instead and hits that first rail. That was huge. And this could be a chance for cha1n to try and get this third frag.
Yeah, I mean, just delaying the TP entrance for a little bit and then going in with and hitting that flick shot just gave cha1n all the control he could need. And maxter immediately trying to go for defensive positions, and cha1n rocket jump up, which is fine. Maxter hits him and he just goes back in. Gets that light and then gets positioned again. But maxter keeps landing these shots. And cha1n was actually... Oh my god, how does maxter keeps landing all the shots? He got no items for the last minute, but just rail after rail after rail. He's the one to collect the frag.
It's not like he's got piercing sights, is he? Just making extremely good reads on where cha1n is going to go. cha1n now just trying to look to survive. Max is only trying to survive himself on 14 HP. Has picked up the heavy, but he's still available as cha1n does clean up there. Now 5-3 still in favour of Maxter. Only a 2 frag deficit for cha1n. Still plenty of time for him to bring this back. Mega will be up next in the next 5 seconds. Looking to see where Maxter could be. Has a feeling that he's going to start approaching the Mega any second. That was a good read. Doesn't hit the rail sadly, but at least it keeps him away just a tad. Maybe enough time to get this heavy, we'll have to see. But he does have the height advantage, depending on the rotation and Max is going to make, as he has been standing up top trying to get a bit of trouble damage every single time that cha1n has progressed to the heavy. Not this time round though.
And most of the weapons they've been using have been just the rail and the shotgun. Mostly the rail. I wonder if Maxter will be able to collect this Mega as well. He is. Takes a little bit of damage for his shovels, but lands the rail right after, obviously. And puts himself on a good position to defend the heavy as well, cha1n. He wants to go through, but going through the choke point is a little harder, but he does hit the rocket in the end, and that's 5-4 right before the heavy spawns in. He might get a spawn frag as well. Should be an easy one to get. And there it is, cha1n tying up the game 5-5 with the Mega about to spawn.
Yeah, sadly Maxter dropped down for the heavy a little bit early. Tied at 5 apiece.
cha1n land the shot.
Down. Yeah, will he be able to? The question is only on 31 HP, needs to back away. He doesn't want to overstay his welcome too much.
Yeah, not quite able to land the shot. And that might cost him the heavy as well, as Maxter already here pressuring it. And Maxter,
love that. I love that as well. He knew the heavy was coming up. He decided to put the orb so early as he's picking up the heavy just to make cha1n think twice about his actions and just at least try and be as proactive as possible, pick up the heavy whilst at the same time.
You know the craziest thing about that was Maxter's last rocket as well. He had no more weapons besides that. He only had that one rocket and he made the play with it.
It's a problem maxter had last year with his ammo management, one of the small minor pieces to his puzzle, but he managed to fix that throughout this year. And this time around, you're right though, at least that one rocket which he had left on the table was able to dish enough damage in order to take down cha1n. Good rail again from maxter, now up by 2 frags. cha1n's in a bit of trouble here. Hasn't got the weapons, maxter has, is still looking to put a bit more pressure on before trying to contest for these items, but Mega's coming up next few seconds. Heavy will follow suit 10 seconds afterwards.
He
has
just
time
keeps
to go for
landing
both.
rails.
It's ridiculous.
It's disgusting to see, really. There's no way in for cha1n if maxter just keeps landing these shots.
They want to try and finish up on cha1n, but knows that the heavy is up. In no point prioritising the frag there, considering both of them were on equal stacks at the time. 1 minute left remaining though, 2 frag deficit for cha1n still. He needs to try and find an opening here, needs to get some chip damage done quick and get that item control in order to tie with maxter's scoreline. But will he be able to, as maxter's still got positional advantage here, managed to pick up the Mega. This is not looking good for cha1n at the moment, as he needs to really do something quick, needs to do something soon, especially in the next 20 seconds, because if not, then we could be seeing the first map victory here for maxter.
Yeah, this heavy push might dictate how the game is going to go in. cha1n does get the heavy, but he's taking a lot of damage. Thankfully for him, maxter does not land the final rail there. So cha1n, a bit of an opportunity. 20 seconds to go, does not land the shot. He really needed that, and now maxter sees an opening to close out the game, and there it is, 8-5, and that might be the GG, as both players call it.
It certainly will be mathematically impossible now for cha1n to try and do anything here, shape or form. As they've realised that already.
Gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, literally.
We said GG at 8-5, so we will keep it 8-5.
Yeah, we will. Nice little fist bump at the end. So, GG's both players. maxter comes out victorious in that first map in this best of 3. We'll have to see how cha1n is going to follow suit in the next map. It's nice to see Insomnia for the first time on the main stage here, and it could be the first time we see Blood Covenant, depending on how map 2 is going to go.
Yeah, I mean, but the way maxter is hitting, there might not be a map 3, because maxter just keeps landing the shots. The only thing he missed was like the 2 initial shotgun blasts, but after all of that, as we're going to see in the replays, he just started landing rail after rail after rail.
Kind of a curse, really, isn't it? He hit the hard ones, but he can't miss the... Well, he seems to miss the easy ones here. Maybe just a little bit impatient with the shotgun, but you could say he corrected that anyway later on in the match.
Yeah, then after that, he started being very patient with the shotgun as well. Just completely started hitting everything with everything. It's very hard to go up against that, right? Because he's also a very smart player. He has a kind of way of playing the game, as you said. It looks like he's playing with piercing sight. Because even when he's moving around the map, he's usually keeping his crosshair in like the enemy general direction, so that he gets the sound cues directly coming for him, and it really makes him be very positionally aware.
Style points and holding the correct angles. It's just good reads overall, and this is what I like about Max as well, especially this year. Every single year, ever since he made it into the Pro League, his adaptation has improved more and more over time, and that's just purely from dueling experience. Quake is a game you can't expect to have that much, good adaptation like from the get-go. It does take years of experience to be able to just in general just improve as a player, and you can have all the aim skill, you can have all the rotations in the world, but if you don't adapt to what your opponent's doing, there's absolutely no way you can contend with some of the best players here in the Quake scene. And it's nice to see maxter being able to adapt so well over time, especially over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and as we're talking a lot about adaptation, and that's because there's a lot of new weapon-coming players that weren't around being Quake pros 5 years ago. And even in this tournament, we have maxter, we have cha1n, we have Razy, we have RMV, and these are all players that now are, some of them are, established legends of Quake, but 4 years ago, we didn't know much about them at all, and they've all grew so much as players, and it's great to see.
So it is indeed. Just looking at the final moments of this replay, you can see here that even though cha1n made a great comeback going down from 2-5 to 5-all, it was maxed in the end with some hard-hitting rails, some good positioning, some great contesting. But I kind of feel like as well, during the moments where cha1n was able to start catching up, it was the missed timings from the heavy from maxter on a couple of occasions.
Yeah.
He was able to contest it a couple of times with the tri-bolt earlier on with height advantage, but the problem was the fact that he didn't have the exact timing, and there was a good example of that when he dropped down with that LG bout. But it seemed like when he was able to get timings on both the items, was able to continue the control and the abuse of mobility, he was perfectly fine from there with the orb.
Yeah, maxter isn't someone that focuses a lot on timings, as we were talking about. He focuses a lot more on position and weapon control. That's where he really shines. When he has to make a play based on the timing, that's when we can start seeing maybe some opportunities for his opponents to catch up to his score and to get a couple of frags on him.
And it's funny as well, like the only moments or the problems that maxter had last year was slight moments of ammo management, missed timings, and we saw that on quite a few occasions against Rafa on Exile and his adaptation. But adaptation comes as you continue to progress and continue to play against some of his top-tier opponents. And we've seen, you know, a steady improvement over time, but these little tiny mistakes here and there. It's funny that how much of a great player he's become, and it's only very silly, basic mistakes, which he's obviously managed to correct and is able to get top 3 at QuakeCon, and now potentially top 3 guaranteed at KeenCon if he wins this next map, or the series, depending on if he goes to map number 3.
Yeah, and I mean, all of the basics of maxter are really there, so you don't really look at an area and say, oh, he's really bad in this, or he's really bad in that. It's just, all the basics are there, just, as you said, really, really small mistakes that are not that hard to fix, and he just keeps growing and growing as a player. And he's someone that is very analytical about his game. He watches his VODs, he studies his opponent, so I think he will not stop improving.
No, it won't. Like, his combat skills, his fundamentals and mechanics were there even before the Pro League when he made it into challenges and then went on from there into the Pro League. And even some of his first matches, I remember one of the very first matches against Effortless, like when he first entered the Pro League, he looked incredible. He didn't look scared, he didn't look too passive, he just continued to show that, you know, the experience with the aim skill and that LATAM experience as well. And he's obviously been practicing a lot against Nosfer. And you remember him and Nosfer always had his number, but now Max is able to, you know, fix that adaptation, as I mentioned before. And the more he's been playing it is really a scary stuff. It's kind of like R&V, like, you know, with the more experience he has, the more of a monster of a player he's going to be in years to come. But Maxter, though, he is very close to a title. We're not sure when he's going to be able to bag it one day, but like I said before, just a few minor things he does need to still correct and fix to make him championship material.
Yeah, he's already very consistent. He's already has all the basics down. Now it's just a matter of, you know, increasing his own skill cap. And you were talking that he's yeah, as you can see the crowd up there, all of the players watching the game. Say hi, guys.
There we go, there we have it. That's the player lounge there. Everyone's just chilling and just either finishing off their games in the loser bracket or just watching the event unfold here on the main stage. It's some great stuff there. Everyone's ready to get set up for this second map. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the second map, because it is going to be Slash versus Nyx. And how do you feel about this matchup? Because we've seen, we know that Slash gets picked like, you know, 7-8 times out of 10 on Ruins anyway, depending on how soon Slash gets banned, if she does get banned. Because of course you've got champions like Athena, where, you know, you've got to keep a watch for while, and you don't want someone to get away with Athena on Deep Embrace or Blood Covenant, especially in this cycle of maps, for example. But how do you feel with the Slash versus Nyx matchup on Ruins?
I mean, I give the full advantage to Slash, right? Because if Nyx gets 2 frags down, Nyx is going to have to take a lot of risk, and she's going to have to use the Ghost Walk very aggressively to be able to catch up to Slash or catch Slash off guard. And on the other way, Slash can try to be as aggressive as he wants, because even if Slash is like 3 frags down, you can catch up to Nyx very quickly. The thing is, Nyx is one of cha1n's best champions. He's a very defensive player with Nyx. He takes virtually no risks. He doesn't mind if he goes 8 minutes without an item. He will then make the correct push or the correct play, or just tire out his opponent so that his opponent starts making mistakes. And I'm curious to see how cha1n will try to approach it, because he obviously, as Nyx versus Slash, he cannot be as aggressive as he would like to be.
And Maxter damn well knows that with the Nyx, as soon as a Ghost Walk's been used, he's going to be looking at the hourglasses around Courtyard, around the heavy jump pad, and
even
Courtyard.
Even if it's not used, like, one of the main things Maxter will be trying to do is just force him to use it. Even if it's like really risky, just try to force him to use it, so that then you can stack. Like, the biggest advantage because of the movement is not just that you can catch up to him, is that after a minor engagement, Slash can just go away for 5 seconds, come back, and she's fully stacked again. Whereas Nyx, you need like 10-20 seconds to get the items back up again. So Maxter will try to force out the Ghost Walk. Even if he takes 2 rockets, he'll just go back in, grab a couple of items, and try to finish the kill.
Yeah, it sounds like we're not going to see too many aggressive Ghost Walks. And maybe if it's to prep for an item early, if we've got the exact time, but we don't really see a lot of that at all. I think against the Slash, it's could be the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, we'll likely see Maxter controlling most of the game, and cha1n try to play with the rail to try and get back in the game. And that's going to be hard for cha1n to do, considering how well Maxter has been hitting his shots.
Certainly has been indeed, and if you're just joining us, we're still in this best of 3. Max is coming up 1-0 in the series, taking down cha1n 8-5 on Insomnia. We are going to be going to Ruins next, with Maxter as the Slash and cha1n as the Nyx, and the final map being on Blood Covenant, if we get that far, with the Galena and the Strong. Again, 2 picks which of course we're not familiar with. It's not something meta, let's be honest, but it's more due to the fact that Blood Covenant being selected last, and we've seen the bans as well leading up to it. So it's understandable why we're going to see the Galena versus Strog matchup. Strog is a bit more understandable. With the Galena, though, it's going to be a bit more interesting on his side.
Yeah, because, I mean, Athena was the first champion ban. There was no Slash anymore. There was no Nyx. There was no Visor. There was no Doom. There was no Ranger. And there was no Strog. So cha1n just went with a solid champion, I guess. It's not the great for Blood Covenant, but Athena is always solid, right? It was either that or go with like Aizen or something. That
Visor maybe, like, you know, it's this.
The Visor was banned in Ruins.
Oh yes, true, yes, because normally the most normal picks wherever is normally the Athena, the Slash, Visor, you know, they're the ones
all of those are already banned, so
all gone.
cha1n just had to go with like the 7th best pick or something.
But that's what I find quite interesting, how it all went to Blood Covenant anyway. Maybe because they know that one person isn't going to have a huge advantage. So, for example, whoever selected Blood Covenant, of course, they're not going to get the first champion pick. But knowing that those 3 champions in particular are all banned.
The thing is, cha1n was the first one to pick in this match because maxter banned Doom, and cha1n had to pick between all of the champions. The Strog was still in the map pool.
Maybe just going for comfortability rather than anything else?
Probably, yeah, because I don't know how comfortable cha1n is with crouch sliding champions, but that's an interesting champion pick.
Yeah, interesting in itself, but just to let you guys know at home, we know still it is currently 1-0 to Maxter in this best of 3 series, but we're going to go for a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to continue with the series between Maxter versus cha1n. And welcome back to Barcelona KeenCon 2022. We're sorry for the delays. Thank you for your patience. There was a few technical difficulties here and there, but that's all been resolved as we're back. Lethal, Ints, we're ready for second map between Maxter and cha1n. Maxter still currently up with a 1-0 lead after the 8-5 victory in Insomnia, and we're going to head straight into Ruins with the Slash versus the Nyx pick.
Yeah, and I'm glad all technical issues are over. Players are ready. Everyone's feeling good. So as soon as we get in game, we're going to get that match underway. And as we were talking about, there's a slight advantage there going for Maxter, both in the movement department and also because the only way for cha1n to win this game is if he starts hitting those clutch rails. And Maxter has been landing all of the clutch rails so far, so it's an uphill battle for cha1n, right?
Yeah, it certainly is. It wasn't in dominating fashion for Maxter, but the fact that the rails he was hitting, how he was actually performing, his position as well, really helped him in the circumstances when he was not mistiming, but of course cha1n was delaying the heavy and making sure that Maxter didn't have a full SP on exactly when the heavy was coming up. Apart from that, though, that was the only way for cha1n to get it back into this. So if he throws Maxter off on that kind of circumstance again, delaying some of the items, maybe prepping from early in case he uses the slashes to trail as well to even push through for some of the items, when we could be seeing a little bit of a difference. It depends, but of course we know that Ghost Walker is going to be used more for the defensive purposes rather than the aggressive, depending on if he wants to try and clutch up on some of the items, and we could well see that. It really does depend on the stacks as well.
Yeah, and I was talking more about that that clutch rail difference, because in the last match, if you're an Anarchy versus Ranger, what you want to do as Anarchy is also keep your distance and try and outrail the Ranger. And even though cha1n was with the Anarchy, Maxter was the one completely outrailing him as well. So I'm not sure if that will go on cha1n's favor this time around. It's going to be very, very hard.
It's a lovely scale statue, isn't it? It's
yes.
Absolutely lovely. We've had, funny enough, we were talking about heavy champions after QuakeCon, and I know some people made some tier lists about it, how it's not as easy using the heavy champions, but we've seen a fair amount of scale. But we did mention in the past as well, and we did predict that if anyone was going to use any heavy champions in any matchups, it needs to be massively in the favor of that champion, like of course, you know, just as an example with the scale being on Bale.
Yeah, and RMV using it out of everyone, because that's his best champion.
And it does depend exactly on the circumstances here, but you never know, you never know. We are waiting to go into the second map quite shortly. As you can see, the man focused on that scale. It's literally not something you want to see on a map like Vale or anything else, especially the bull rush. And a lot of players have said that, you know, online scale is a force to be reckoned with. Still is on LAN, but, you know, obviously due to without the latency, the hitbox isn't as large, it's a little bit easier, and we're talking about the ball rush alone, of course, when you're hitting your opponent, but little things here and there with the scale, which has caused a few issues for some opponents on LAN, but we still have seen a couple of heavy champions appear here and there as well. Of course, we saw Zenecu using the Sorlag on that Awoken matchup previously.
Yeah, and it could have gone a lot better for him. I think if he had been slightly more aggressive with it and less hesitant. I think if the roles were reversed in that and Razy had the Starlight, I'm not sure Zenecu would have had much of a chance, because I think Razy would have been able to take full advantage out of it, basically.
And would have had to face against a clutch from Razy on Ruins anyway, so he's probably happy he didn't have to go that far anyway, but it would have been a very interesting map number 3. But of course, Zen is down in a loser's bracket. He is still currently top 6. He will be facing against either Dramus or CNZ to try and make it into the top 4. But if we go back into this winners semis, if you're just joining us, in the first winners semi-finals, Razy managed to defeat Zenecu 2-0. Every map went to sudden death, and of course by 1 frag. It was such a close-knit fight between the two. And now between maxter and cha1n. maxter is up currently 1-0. He won the match to win the first one, and Insomnia 8-5. A lot of clutch rails, a lot of clutch plays, a few missed times with the heavy, but it's more due to the fact that maxter didn't have the clear timing with cha1n throwing them off here and there. But even then though, we're going to have to see what maxter and cha1n can do in the second map, with maxter with the slash and cha1n with the Nyx. It's all about what cha1n can do to try and counteract this. Again, Inchi did say that a lot of clutch rails are going to be required from cha1n, but it's more maxter doing that in that department with the slash, so it's going to make things even more tough coming into this for cha1n.
Yeah, just an uphill battle for cha1n, and it looks like, I mean, I'm giving the full advantage to maxter and agreeing with Razy, as I asked him before the game, his prediction for this match, and he did say statistically maxter has the better chance. But on the other hand, Zenecu said cha1n was going to win 2-0, and he's already failed. He's already failed his prediction.
2-1 is still potential on the cards, depending on the scenario, the situation, true. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's very tough, because we know that, of course, with maxter, he's been working hard on the event and still somehow being able to play and practice and just perform the best he can of his ability. It's very hard to juggle both things, but the fact that he's helping to run this event and be able to compete at the same time is a man of many talents here, Ince.
He definitely is. I was not expecting him to have this level of performance given his workload at this event, but yeah, it seems that they had to kick him out of the working station yesterday so that he could focus on playing more instead, and, well, he's focused.
He really is, yeah, because, of course, if you have a bit of concentration elsewhere, then it can throw you off a tab before you match up against your opponent. It will happen for anyone, of course, as we're still just discussing to see exactly what is going on at the moment. And as I already said, currently 1-0 in the series for maxter. We're going to see exactly how things are going to plan out momentarily. And we've talked about the second map a lot. I know we're going a little bit further than expected, but let's talk about more about the third map on Blood Covenant. If cha1n does somehow take Ruins with the Nyx against maxter slash, how do you feel about the situation? Because we talked about the champion picks on Blood Covenant before. Normally see, you know, the Athena or the Visor or the slash, etc. But because we've got none of that, how do you feel between the Galena and the Strog matchup?
I mean, it's even if he somehow managed to win that uphill battle that Ruins will be, Blood Covenant is another uphill battle, right? Because with Galena you have no good movement for that map. Her build doesn't really suit that map unless he's really hiding the totems very well. And on the other hand, maxter has a very fast champion. It's basically the same champion that he will have on Ruins, just a little bit slower but more stacked. So maxter, for him, he's going to be playing exactly the same way. And for cha1n, I don't know. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I'm here to witness it.
Yeah, I certainly am as well. And it's not like maxter's going to sit in one spot and do the same rotations. Yeah. He's going to find those totems every single day of the week. We know that quite a few years ago, during Quake Champion's lifespan, very early on, Galena was selected on Blood Covenant now and again, but we're talking like a very long time ago, back in the early days of the Visor versus Nyx matchup. We saw that quite a lot on Blood Covenant as well. But now with all the champions like literally being banned for a map like Blood Covenant and then going into this, I do feel like you are right though. The Strog should be the absolute favourite going into it, and this is why it's a real uphill battle. It's not just Ruins going into this map with the Nyx, it's of course the Galena. It's going to be a hell of a lot of trouble here for cha1n.
And no, it's not just the champion matchups, it's then on top of that maxter is the one landing all of the rail shots. So that's exactly what cha1n has to be doing, and it's maxter the one doing it. So it's a lot of things that are going up against cha1n right now. And I'm curious to see what his game plan will actually be.
Something we'll do indeed. And sorry, apologies for the delays at the moment, and thank you for your patience. We're just discussing to see how we're going to go about this next matchup. And we're going to view the brackets now just to keep you guys informed to see exactly what's been occurring so far. We know that the loser side is underway upstairs. And just to let you guys know, whilst we're waiting for the action to happen on the main stage, you guys can also tune into the B stream, which is at maxter Quake on Twitch too. So if you guys want to get your feel for some Quake action whilst we're waiting to get this next match underway, of course, feel free to make sure to go on at maxter Quake on Twitch to follow exactly what's going on in the loser bracket, because we do have Zenecu versus either Dramus or CNZ. CNZ or Dramus is obviously waiting for the loser of this matchup as well. And as you can see from the winner side of the bracket, we saw Razy take down Zenecu earlier on 2-0, but I can tell you what, there's some scores that don't reflect, but this certainly did not, with every map going to sudden death if you missed it, and we're just waiting for the maxter and cha1n matchup happening shortly.
All 3 of the 2 maps went into sudden death. That's impressive.
Yeah, mathematically impossible somehow, but yeah, it's... to add to that though, if people were wondering why Ints actually said that, it was because of the fact that on the second map, it did go to sudden death, but...
Don't spoil it. You go ask the boss, guys.
You can do. I'd probably just say, yeah, watch it for yourself, witness exactly what happened at the end of that second map, and then instead of going for next frag wins, they decided to do a completely full reset, which is, humble of both of them.
Yeah, I think Zenecu might be regretting that decision a little bit now. Maybe not, because I think he's too nice of a guy to be regretting that decision, right? He just, no, there was no question. I was always going to do it, but a lot of people would not have done it. I would not.
Yeah, it's like I had the stack, I had the positional advantage, I had not a clean pathway to take him down because we saw how good Razy's defense is, but we had the advantage one way or another.
Yeah, and he decided to, go full fair play mode. And I think in Zenecu's mind, there was no doubt about it. They were always going to do it, right? They're teammates, they're friends, and he's just a very nice guy overall. And sadly, they didn't pan out in his way.
What would you do?
I would have taken the win. I wouldn't even have done for... I wouldn't have gone for... when Razy went... when he had the issue, I would just have fragged him there.
You would have just standing still, yeah.
Exactly. That's it. I win.
It's good, Dan.
You gotta take the wins when you can.
Humble, not humble. See, that's the difference we have at the moment between the two guys here. And as you can see, for the viewers at home, this is the setup we have at KeenCon. It's a beautiful venue. You've got, of course, our desk underneath, and you've got the main stage there with the players getting prepped up and ready to sort themselves out. And you can see there little bit of some sofas there, which was going to be filled up to the brim. We're sure when the finals take place later on this evening, and I'm sure Ints can absolutely agree as well that hopefully it will go to 2 best-of-5s. If you're not too sure how it's going to happen, it's not like the old rules where the player from the winner side has that 1 map advantage and then go to a best-of-7. It will just be a straight-up best-of-5, and the player from the loser side will have to win 2 best-of-5s outright. The winning player, of course, only needs to win 1. So that'll be interesting in itself, especially for the picks and bans. We know that in best-of-7s, the champion picks and the map picks can get a little bit skew-whiff towards the end, just due to the fact that it's, whatever champions and maps you have left available. And we're still in discussion at the moment, as we're still currently getting on with the series, waiting for map 2 to get underway between the two. And, we spoke about it in the past, and, we've talked about the winner side quite a lot. We've talked about, the map cycle of how things could be predicting here. And before I go into the loser side more, this is the player lounge where everyone's either chilling out or either watching a loser's bracket from upstairs and watching it from down below from above. And we're going to see exactly how it's going to unfold it. And this is the angle you've got from the players lounge as well. No, not too shabby here. And you've got a clear view of everything here. I can see. There we go.
I like that even though there are some issues going on, players are still all smiles and talking to each other. Nobody's really frustrated. Everyone's just really happy to be here and happy with the conditions still.
And I don't know if we've got a chance here. We're looking at the player lounge at the moment. I don't know if you can pop upstairs as well, just to show exactly how the LAN looks as well. And okay, we've got another view from the player lounge anyway, so we're all just waiting to get ourselves prepared. I'm sure they're all going to be downstairs going absolutely nuts for the grand finals later on. There isn't many because it's like I said before, some people are still landing upstairs. They're still finishing off the loser bracket as well. So we're just chilling, getting ready for this next match to get underway.
Yeah. And everything looks amazing. I like that there are 5 trophies already on the stage and they all look gorgeous.
Not enough trophies, is there?
No, there needs to be another trophy for me.
What for? Caster of the year?
Best caster.
Yeah, you can if you want. You will never get it though.
I mean, we can 1v1 for it.
Yeah? You want a 1v1 for Cast of the Year?
That's fine by me.
I'll do it on another game, maybe not Quake though.
Oh, okay.
Or we can do, maybe we can do best of 3. I'll do 1v1 on Quake and one on my game.
In the other?
Yeah, every other shooters, yeah.
All right, that's fine by me. That's fine by me, man.
And as you can see, and also there's obviously the merchandise and everything like that as well. They've got absolutely everything here you can think of, and I'm not gonna, not gonna lie, Owens. I'm definitely gonna grab one of those mugs on the way back.
Yeah, me too.
That's if there's any left.
Yeah, if there's any left, I'll try and grab one as well.
Yeah, we're probably leaving it to last minute. Yeah, that mug's for me, mate. Make sure you save it. That's my one. I've got shotgun. But yeah, it's incredible what we've done so far. It's like we said with KeenCon in the past, how it's gone from a small, humble LAN party to what it is today to the huge venues. There's both the mugs. Yeah, save those 2 for me. Keep them on reserve. You've heard me. I've shotgunned it. If they're gone, I'm having words. And yeah, of course, you've got the other merchandise as well. All the KeenCon gear you could even imagine and you can think of here. Now, we've talked about the winner side a lot. We've talked about this matchup. We've talked about what happened in the previous semi-finals. And we have to talk about the losers as well. We know that Dramus and CNZ was during the long run of it. We haven't really talked about Dramus and CNZ previously about how they're going to go forward. We are, apologies for the technical difficulties at the moment. We will be getting underway shortly just to let you guys know and keep you guys updated. But until this match begins, how do you feel that Dramus and CNZ are going to do on the losers' side? We saw how they perform. I still think Dramus is still playing extremely well. CNZ is seen to be more of a momentum-based player going forward. As you can see, he was falling short against RMV, but because some of the mistakes RMV was having, he was able to capitalize on that and get a bit more confidence. But how do you feel that both these players from Dragonborn Esports are going to go forward?
I'm not sure. It's a very uphill battle for both of them, and I'm trying to figure out if one of them... do we know who CNZ is going to go up against yet, or Dramus? Because one of them is going to go up against the Naku. I saw the bracket, I just don't remember anymore.
When I saw the bracket, I think Dramus was on the top side. I do believe that maybe Dramus will play Zenaku, and maybe CNZ will play the loser of this match between maxter and cha1n. But we are going to get underway very shortly. Thank you for your patience. This time there was a PC issue, but that should be replaced. All done and dusted. We're almost there. So thank you for your patience. So close you can literally taste it at this point. I say that now, but we'll find out what happens shortly, I'm sure. But in terms of Dramus, if Dramus does face up against Zenaku...
They played at the upper bracket, right? So I think in the lower bracket it switches. So it might be... Zenaku versus CNZ. In that case, it's going to be very hard versus CNZ. I think if CNZ went versus maxter or cha1n, I think his style is a bit more suited to deal with one of them. With Zenaku, I'm not sure, because CNZ, even though he was doing really good plays, but also some poor plays, and Zenaku, I think he will take full advantage of those.
He certainly will indeed, and I did hear in my ear but the match is going to get underway very shortly. The players are going in. We're going to get ready for this second map. First map went in favour of maxter, 8-5 on Insomnia. We're going to go straight to Ruins, and if cha1n takes it, we're going to go to a map number 3 on Blood Covenant between the Galena and the Strog. A very interesting matchup. I'm not sure you don't normally see every day. Very off meta on a map such as this. And thank you again, everyone, for your patience, and all the viewers at home. We know there's some delays here, no technical difficulties, and with one of the PCs, but we're already set to go into the second map, and we're going to be starting things off from cha1n's perspective.
I really like the contrast in players. They were all smiles and talking, and as soon as it was time to go, you saw their serious faces come out in just full-on concentration. So starting on maxter with the slash, he already has all of the main weapons that he needs. Now it's a matter of whether he's going to try and force out the Ghost Walk or just try and rotate the items. Because as we were talking about, maxter should have a pretty big advantage in this game, unless cha1n hits his shots and plays out of his mind. Let's see. Heavy's the next item up. Will maxter go for it? He sees cha1n. But cha1n, okay, landing the first shot, a good omen of things to come, possibly.
Yeah, picking up that health bubble just to make sure it's not available, just to safety concerns.
Good damage
good rocket and the rail combo straight afterwards. This is exactly what we was talking about as well. And what a way to start things off here for cha1n is now just holding the angle for the rail, just trying to deny the weaponry very early on. Does have the nail gun in maxter's hand. Heavy is going to be up in the next 5 seconds. As cha1n does have time to contest the Mega straight afterwards. Just depends on the route he wants to take. As he's going to go up the heavy jump pad straight away. May not be able to get it, but still should be able to do some damage. But it looks like he's going to, of course, prioritize the hourglasses to make sure he gets the Ghost Walk a little bit earlier than intended.
And that's a perfect start for cha1n. If he was the one getting fragged, he would have much harder time in this game. But being the one in the lead with Nyx, she does have that get out of jail free card, as he just showed us. Not sure that was the best usage for him, but look at cha1n's rockets. He's just going to go with the LG to finish that kill up. Oh. And they should be able to get that free heavy based on that. Very, very good weapon decision there by cha1n.
Yeah, that was incredible from cha1n. That was exactly what he needed. He just held the angle. maxter dive straight on in, and this is the lead we were looking for here.
And again, the rockets.
Oh, so close. Oh, well, maxter cleans him up with the LG anyway. But the main thing is for maxter, he's now back in this matchup. We saw from cha1n that it was a little bit difficult. He's not doing really too many flashy plays. He's just getting it consistently done, playing standard, making sure to try and throw maxter off in some ways with some of the trap plays he's making.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I thought cha1n was gonna have that kill. Oh, beautiful rail by maxter, just a drive-by shot. And I thought cha1n was gonna have the previous kill when he landed the rail, but apparently maxter still had some stack remaining. maxter this time around managing to force out the ghost walk from cha1n, so now we'll see maxter just trying to protect those hourglasses, but cha1n shooting back with a couple of rails. Now maxter does not feel so confident anymore, as cha1n is the one who will be collecting the heavy armor. Mega up soon in maxter, maintaining that high ground positioning, looking for the audio cues.
So that was one way to get the second frag and deny the Mega at the same time. maxter coming up with the flashy plays once again with that drive-by rail earlier on around rockets. Max is in a great position as well. Heavy is up in the next 7 seconds. He's just quietly dropping down, comes up with the LG banner. He's going to continue it, but sticks up with the LG from cha1n. He's going to use the trail anyway. We're going to finish him. He does with the rail once again from maxter, and he's taken the lead after that 2-0 deficit.
I'm not sure if he had the heavy completely timed, because it seemed like he was a little bit earlier, because I think the plan was to get it when he was, you know, doing the crouch sliding. But he still managed to hit all of the shots necessary to get the kill. And cha1n now getting pressured by maxter, does land a good rail and manages to use the ghost walk to get out of there. Oh, but maxter finds him again. Should be an easy kill for the Argentinian player.
Brilliant stuff here from maxter. Picks up the heavy.
And now it's where it gets really hard for cha1n, right? Because he's 2 frags down as Nyx. And now he's especially more, because maxter is extending the lead right before the Mega spawn, so that's going to be a clean Mega pickup. cha1n 3 frags down as Nyx versus Slash on top of it. He's going to have to string a few more of these rails that he just hit.
And the fact that he's got the agility,
well, there's two.
The mobility and the speed now to get away from any situation, depending on the positioning of where Max is going to place himself. cha1n still trying to recover, but it's just been back-to-back frags, not giving him any room to breathe at this point. And Max is now just going to rotate around. Mega's come up for the next few seconds as Max is in a better position at the moment. cha1n realizes this straight away. He's going to back off from that choke point. And now he's going to start pursuing him to heavy momentarily. We'll be up in 10 seconds. Tanks up one rail. cha1n is hidden, but maxter isn't available. cha1n is backed away straight away. Heavy's coming up in the next few seconds. And look at that. cha1n at least managed to get a cheeky little rail from that heavy jump pad before he pops down. And this is exactly what he needed.
Yeah, as I was saying, like, cha1n hit that rail, they both did, and then maxter, 5 seconds later, he already was 150 again. And cha1n had to, you know, clutch out another shot, and thankfully for him, he did, and that gave him full control. So cha1n in a bit of an advantage right now. Let's see if he can capitalize with a couple of frags. That's the aggressive ghost walk. Let's see if he can result in a frag. maxter's trying to run away. The heavy is only after the light armor, so cha1n has enough time. Oh, he doesn't actually... I think he couldn't get the light armor, and then he didn't feel confident enough to drop down. So maxter being given that heavy armor. Mega coming up, cha1n already in position for it. And maxter, you know, he has the lead. He's just listening out for sound cues and knowing where to be.
And this is the problem for cha1n as well. If he does use that aggressive ghost walk to try and solidify frag, of course with the speed Slash has, it's going to be very difficult to try and chase up. We'll have to obviously make that flank or rotation round instead. But now though, 7 seconds left for the Mega. First rail going in favor of cha1n. maxter needs to be extra careful as he goes around the recovery. 4 minutes left. maxter looking very good so far to grab this 2-0 victory as cha1n only got a slight stack lead, a bigger one now, but not after that rail damage coming up from cha1n. Sorry for maxter, 2 for 2, goes for the third, he does not. He's still looking to go for another as maxter Very dicey there, but will pick up the heavy and looking very strong. cha1n still weak though, and maxter could be on for a 6th frag.
We'll see as cha1n is in the driver's seat, but right now he has no items to play with. And maxter just using that speed to get more items. Mega coming up, and cha1n, he is very happy that maxter did not push that one earlier. If maxter's timing had been a bit more spot on, this game could be almost over right now.
Certainly could indeed. Heavy for cha1n though. This is his moment to try and bring this back. Ghostwalk should be up now. So we've still got 3 minutes left in play. That's a good first shot. Now it's just to try and push this and put some aggression onto the Mega. But the problem is though, maxter realizes this and is just going to completely rotate all the way around rather than even attempt. Even though Max had a better positioning, he didn't have to stack to continue that contestation. But here we go with that aggressive Ghostwalk to see if he can throw him off. But sadly, he will not be able to. He's just hanging around those back stairs, knowing that if cha1n pushes, and if he does take him down, he's going to be taking a lot of damage from those defensive rockets from maxter.
It's very hard to make an aggressive Ghostwalk work against Slash, because you need to predict where Slash is going to be 3 seconds after, and Slash is a very mobile champion. It's almost impossible to predict that. Those are some good rockets. Can he finish it up with ALG? Yes, he does. The little jump on the wall was paramount to getting that kill, then allowed him to dodge all of the rockets.
That spawn rare would have been even better, but sadly cha1n couldn't pick him off. These back-to-back frags may be required depending on how much time maxter can waste. It's not really in maxter's nature to play the waiting game or play defensively, but he probably will do at some point if it's still a 2-frag lead and if cha1n gets all the items and full map control. Just got to be very wary about these aggressive Ghostwalks now.
I see 2 minutes to go. cha1n only 2 frags down. He has a really good stack to work with this time around. Has the Ghostwalk. He knows where maxter is. The thing is, how does he catch up? Maxter can just stay there for the next 90 seconds, and there's no real way for cha1n to actually get to him. He has to do an aggressive Ghostwalk as he tries. I'm not sure if... Oh, that's a good attempt. But still, maxter can just play the runaway game with the mobility advantage. And that's why this peak was... cha1n just has a lot to go up against in this matchup.
And you saw maxter time that as well. When he was sitting in tri-bolt, if he hears his things again a little bit quiet for a few seconds, he knows that there could be some aggression in terms of Ghostwalk coming out from cha1n. And you saw that as well. After a couple of seconds, he backed away straight away, but that was a good first rail coming out from maxter. He has the choke point over the rockets, but he's backed away once again. 1 minute left, still maxter with a 2-frag lead. This is going to get very tough. He does have one Ghostwalk and maybe 2 later.
Maxter positioning is always giving him a really good escape route. This time around, maxter actually fighting for the Mega and stealing it to the end, and on top of that lands a good rocket on the cha1n to destroy his momentum. cha1n trying to use the Ghostwalk. I don't think he saw maxter. He was right behind him, right? Yep, he was right behind him. He actually didn't see him, so that was the best opportunity for cha1n to actually get the kill, and he somehow missed maxter.
It could be said and done here, but I kind of feel like cha1n needs to try and get this frag in the next 10 seconds. It needs to be as clean as possible, but from what we've seen so far, especially with both items coming up, Mega's coming up in the next couple of seconds. cha1n just looking for him to see if he's going to be contested, which he does, but some good defensive rockets once again. Max is trying to get away with his life. 15 seconds left remaining. So far, cha1n is also reliable, won't have to stack, and he's going to see if he can try and catch him, which he does not. Maxter does miss the rail, though. 8 seconds left. It's going to be way too little too late here. Even if he finishes up this full frag, hits him again, Maxter returns with a rail of his own and takes that second map 6-3.
And that's a really good win for maxter. 2-0, and then as we said, it was very hard for cha1n to be able to win that matchup. Even I think his best chance was in the first map when he had the Anarchy versus the Ranger, but maxter was completely countering his play. And in here, in this map specifically, it was very, very hard to go up against.
Yeah, cha1n knew from the very beginning that it was going to be an uphill battle, both on this map and if we went to Blood Covenant. So he just had to make the best of a bad situation. It wasn't really the champion pick, of course, he favoured. He tried to make work of the aggressive Ghostwalk, but didn't really get a huge amount in there. So that does mean we will be seeing maxter in the winners finals against Razy later on, or it actually might be our next matchup.
Yeah, it might be. I'm really curious to see the remaining matches. Like the final is going to be quite amazing, right? Maxter versus Razy. They've both been looking the best this tournament, and rightly so, both meeting in the winner bracket final. And who would you favor in that one?
Between Razy and Maxter?
Yeah.
I really don't know. I think I'm going to have to say Razy, because I do feel like the style of play Razy does, and you saw it at QuakeCon, it was very difficult for Max to have room to make the flashy plays and the rail shots which he was hitting. So all those clutch plays he was making, you could see that he's not the most predictable player. He can adapt well, but Razy seems to be able to download Max a little bit faster than intended. And it depends how Max has been practicing during the off-season. He's been working more on his adaptation. He's been working more to try and breach that gap between, you know, the likes of Razy, Rafa and Kilson, because we know that from Max's perspective, there's a little bit to learn in terms of like his positional advantage and when to make these pushes, but he needs to find exactly how and when he should be able to do it.
Exactly, and Maxter, as I said, I think the game from cha1n, I think he kind of lost it in the champion picks, right? He only had one favorable matchup for him, and it was the first map. The other two, it was going to be very hard. Even if he did win the Ruins of Sarnath, Blood Covenant was going to be yet another uphill battle, and I'm sad we couldn't get to see what the game plan would be for Blood Covenant, but congratulations to Maxter for winning the 2-0.
I can tell you what, that Blood Covenant would have been a strange one with that Galena versus Strog matchup, and we do have an interview with Maxter to see how he felt about that last game.
Yes, indeed. Here is Maxter. Congratulations on winning the semifinals. Now you're in the finals, but let's talk a little bit about this last game. cha1n is always a tough opponent. How did you manage to beat him and going through to the finals?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say that I want to talk about cha1n's performance. It's really tough lately. I really wanted to play against him because he performed really well during QuakeCon, and having the opportunity to play against him on LAN, it's truly amazing. And that's why it was really tough the second map. I think he's really strong on Ruins of Sarnath. I was concerned by the fact that if I didn't ban Bale, he would pick that, and probably he would pick as well Ruins. So I was in between those maps, and well, at the beginning he just got some shots. Like, I was truly surprised. I did just some bullshit there as well, but I managed to just be confident on my shots. On our previous matches, he did some moves that I already knew, and I think that knowing my opponent just worked really well this time.
And now you're going through to the uppers bracket final against Razy, top 2 in the world. Now you're 2-3. How do you think that you can beat the top 2? How would you do it?
Well, it's amazing to have again the opportunity to play against Razy. I mean, too much respect for him because he's just too solid. He always has an amazing performance. On LAN is even better. Like, I know that I can beat him, but it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
Great, thank you so much for your words, Master, and congratulations again. Lots of luck in the uppers bracket final, and hope you are enjoying the LAN party.
One more couple more, please, because I want to say, just thank to our sponsors, which Copysat, Data Virtual, 2K System. They are helping us to just make all of this happen. So shout out to them.
Yeah, cheers to them, and thank you to our sponsors. That was Master. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much indeed for the interview, guys, and we can see from there that Max is feeling quite comfortable, but he knows that it's going to be a huge path for him to try and take down Razy after the numerous encounters he's had with him previously. But for the guys at home, let's have a look at the bracket to see how things have unfolded over time, as ever since yesterday going on to today. We do have the Razy versus Maxter winners finals. That'll be occurring later on, and Razy took down Zenaku to get there 2-0, both or all 3 maps, so to speak. Would go to cha1n there for absolutely ridiculous. Then Maxter taking down cha1n, both maps by 3 frags. It was a close affair on a number of occasions, but of course you can talk about for days that the champion pick sadly did not go in cha1n's favour, and it really did represent it. But still, cha1n still managed to give it a really good go considering the position he put himself in.
Yeah, it was closer than I would have expected, because I mean that goes all credit to cha1n because he did play really well despite the champion matchup not being in his favor. But Maxter and Razy will be the upper bracket final, and they've both not even lost a map this whole tournament, so it's going to be very interesting to see what shape they're both going to be in. I think we've seen both of them just play amazing. Maxter's rail has been completely on fire, Razy's decision making has been there, and I can't really call it.
I really can't either. It depends how well Maxter can force his style, but I kind of feel like at the same time Razy could just put him in check and just keep him in control and not be able to play the way he wants to play. The with players like Razy or Kilson or Rava, they're the kind of people who make you feel as uncomfortable as possible. You can play however you like. They'll make you force you out of position and make you feel uncomfortable, and it's very difficult to really force yourself onto them.
Yeah, they are, because they don't make mistakes. When someone doesn't make mistakes, you really have to put yourself in harm's way to try and force out a mistake from them, and it's very hard to do, because you take a lot of risk when you do that, and as soon as you make one small mistake or take one small risk, they will usually capitalize on that.
Yeah, they certainly do indeed. So guys at home, we've still got 3 more matches left to come. We're going to go for an extended break. But when we come back later on, though, we will have the winners, losers finals and the grand finals coming up soon enough. So we'll see you guys very soon.